On the day I was discharged from the hospital, Ben sure still didn't show up. During my entire hospital stay, he never visited me once. With my cast still on, I had no choice but to take a taxi home. Yet when I stood at the door, I couldn't get the lock open no matter what I tried. I had no choice but to call Ben. When the call connected, the voice that came through was his unattainable crush phase. "Is it B.A. Nash who's back? Ben is in the shower." Before I could speak, the lock clicked open from the inside. Faye greeted me warmly and generously as soon as she saw me, urging me to come in quickly. "Sis BEA, it's all because I have a bad memory and can never remember passwords, so Ben changed the password to my birthday." "Sis BEA, you didn't know that, did you? I'll write it down for you later." Faye was wearing a brand new black semi-transparent nightgown, her damp hair clinging to her chest, soaking the thin fabric. At that moment, Ben emerged from the master bedroom, wrapped in a towel and drying his hair with another. In the past, if I had seen the two of them alone at home, both freshly showered, I would have been furious and ended up in a heated argument with Ben. But this time, I just nodded faintly and walked in with my luggage. Seeing that I wasn't angry, Ben dropped the towel in his hand and gave me an explanation that only made things more suspicious. Faye's voltage regulator broke. "So she's been staying with us these past few days. Don't get the wrong idea." Seeing Ben, what comes to mind is that day when he was in such a hurry to chase after Faye Long that he didn't care about me being hit by a car while running after him, nearly costing me my life. At that moment, all my feelings for him vanished. I'm not mistaken. I didn't stop, dragging my Shaw suitcase toward the bedroom. "Faye's family has all gone abroad. It's not safe for a girl to be alone. We grew up together. If I don't take her in, who will?" I listened quietly as he finished speaking. He probably forgot that to be with him. "I haven't contacted my own family for 3 years either. If Faye has it hard, then what about me? I told you, I'm not misunderstanding." As he blocked my path, I was forced to stop and reiterate, "BA, you've been giving me attitude since you walked in, and when I try to explain, you refuse to listen properly. What exactly do you want?" He kept yammering on and on while tugging at my arm. Completely out of patience, I pushed him away and said coldly, "I told you I'm really not misunderstanding anything." The fracture in my hand hadn't fully healed yet, and the pain forced me to let go. The Shaw bag hit the ground with a dull thud. The light in the room turned on, revealing a pile of men's and women's clothes stacked together on the bed. Ben, startled as if waking from a dream, hastily grabbed the pile of clothes in his hands. "We accidentally got these wet earlier, so we left them here to dry. Don't overthink it." I looked around in bewilderment. The bedroom was in complete disarray. There wasn't even a place to set foot. After uttering a vague I turned and walked into the second bedroom. Chapter 2. Wait until I finish showering and come out. My dad happened to call just then. "BA, it's best that you've come to understand. Your dad is getting old, and you're our only daughter, for 3 years. You refused to come back and take over the family business because of that man. You have no idea how much your mom and I have missed you. If he truly cared for you, that would be one thing. But after 3 years, he still hasn't officially introduced you to his family and friends. It's clear he hasn't been as devoted to you as you claimed. Since you've made up your mind to come back this time, how about we set the wedding date for a month from now?" Hearing my father's words, I was momentarily stunned. In the past, when he said such things, I always found them unpleasant to hear. Believing he simply looked down on Ben because of his own wealth, I would firmly retort, telling him how deeply in love Ben and I were. This time, however, I couldn't utter a single word in response. "Good. I can wait until after Professor Chen's birthday banquet before leaving. As for the wedding arrangements, you can handle them as you see fit." Just as the call ended, footsteps could be heard outside the door. Ben pushed open the door to the secondary bedroom, holding a box of fresh mangoes in his hand. He placed the fruit on the table, frowned suspiciously, and said, "I vaguely heard you mention something about a wedding just now. I've told you several times. Since the wedding is postponed anyway, there's no need to rush." Watching his flustered and panicked expression, I calmly replied, "Not ours, a relative's. They asked me to help with the wedding preparations." Hearing this, Ben finally relaxed. He opened the mango box and mentioned Faye, his eyes and brows brimming with joy. Faye was afraid you'd be upset, so she's already moved to a hotel. She even specially asked me to bring you fresh mangoes as an apology. I didn't open my mouth. Ben's eyes flashed with displeasure. BA, enough is enough, know when to stop. Dragging this out won't do anyone any good. I laughed, after all these years together. You didn't know I'm allergic to mangoes. With that, I turned to go find the hairdryer. Ben followed behind me, opening his mouth several times as if to say something, but ultimately remained silent. He used to remember all my dietary restrictions, every anniversary we shared. The first time I had an allergic reaction to a mango dessert, he stayed with me at the hospital late at night, anxiously pacing by my side. Now, it's not that he forgot, it's just that he doesn't love me anymore. Without looking at him, I took out the medicine the doctor prescribed and changed the dressing myself. When he saw the scars covering my body, guilt flickered in his eyes. He picked up a cotton swab, intending to apply medicine for me. I was about to refuse. His phone rang. From the other end came Faye's weak voice. Ben, I think I ate something bad. My stomach hurts terribly and I'm breaking out in cold sweat all over. Could you please come over and bring me some medicine? Hearing this, Ben suddenly stood up. Don't panic, I'll be right there. Lie down first and don't go anywhere. After hanging up the phone, he explained to me very sincerely, BA, Faye has a stomach flare-up. I need to go check on her. I swear there's really nothing between us. If there were, we wouldn't have waited until today. Stop being upset with me over this. Before I could respond, he was already out the door. The medicine bottles on the table were knocked over, spilling everywhere. Looking at the empty house that had returned to silence, and the tightly shut door, I couldn't help but laugh at myself mockingly. In the past, every time something related to Faye came up, he would act unusually out of character, and I would become overly anxious. He always said I didn't trust him enough. Now it's settled, he can be completely at ease, as I'll never doubt him again. Chapter 3. After that day, Ben never came back, but Faye updated her social media frequently. Inside and out, it was all about how happy she was being alone with Ben. Silently, I blocked Faye on WeChat, then watching the newly bought electronic countdown timer tick away, 20 days to go. I started preparing to resign. The work at hand has reached its final stage, but I still want to wrap everything up beautifully. The general manager looked at my resignation letter, which mentioned holding a wedding, and jokingly remarked that it's indeed better to have a belated wedding sooner rather than later. I lowered my head, remained silent for a moment, then smiled brightly. It's not a wedding with him. The general manager was taken aback and sighed regretfully. These days I've been busy with the handover of work. And it wasn't until the second day after actually leaving the company that I suddenly found myself with free time. I glanced at that electronic countdown timer. Only 5 days remained. I was somewhat stunned. I patted my face, trying to snap myself out of it, then began packing the luggage. Sure, I spent a long time with Ben, and I also love photography. We took many photos together, displayed all over the house. Some others are stored in my camera and computer. Besides the photos, I've also kept all the gift boxes I gave him for his birthdays over the years, as a sort of memento. It's also to avoid giving the same gifts again in a few years, which might seem thoughtless. And there are the love letters he wrote to me back then. Looking at these, my heart still feels heavy and uncomfortable. We were truly good together in the past. Back then, I couldn't bear to miss a single moment of his. He would also spend all his spare energy on me. Sometimes he would look at those photos and tease. You take so many pictures. Don't you ever get tired of looking at them? I'd joke back. Who knows, maybe one day I really will get tired. And I'll quietly leave to become a heartbreaker. He pinched my cheek affectionately, and I laughed as I collapsed onto the sofa. Ah, you've shattered it. Look what's inside my heart now. Oh my, it's all you. The two of them burst into laughter together. So many years have passed, and I'm still not tired of it. But he already is. After flipping through them for a while, I took all these things to the bathroom and burned them bit by bit. I flushed the ashes down the drain. All the past has left nothing behind. Chapter 4. Time passed quickly. Ben still hasn't returned. These past few days, I've been tidying up and cleaning the house while packing my things, until there's not a single trace of me left in this home. Looking at the 2 on the countdown, I picked up my keys and went out to get Professor Chen's gift. Professor Chen is our university professor who teaches general education courses. It could be said to be the matchmaker between Ben and me. I spent a long time choosing in the mall, and finally picked a jade pendant. They say jade can ward off disasters. The teacher is getting old, and I hope he remains free from illness and misfortune. Teacher Chen's birthday was my last day in this city. Tomorrow I'll be flying back to get married. Last night Ben sent a message saying he might not be able to come back due to recent work commitments. I didn't reply either. Later, they called again to confront me. If you're unhappy, why not say it outright? Why secretly get someone to target Faye at work? Go apologize quickly. Faye is broad-minded and won't hold it against you. I found it ridiculous. After all these years together, he actually thought I was the kind of person who would resort to underhanded tactics behind someone's back. I hung up the phone directly. His text message came through immediately. "BA, you've gone too far. I really can't understand how a perfectly fine person could turn out like this." I met Ben in Professor Chen's class during university. Once when many people hadn't completed their homework, Ben was among them. Professor Chen was furious and demanded that all those who hadn't finished their homework stand up. As he walked past us, he gave us a strange look. "You two sit together every day. Are you dating? How come you've done your own homework but didn't make sure your partner finished theirs?" Both of us blushed at the same time. Back then, BA probably never imagined she'd end up wasting so many years of her youth on Ben. After suppressing all these emotions in my heart, I knocked on Teacher Chen's door. As soon as he saw me, Teacher Chen warmly pulled me inside. When I finished telling him that I had resigned and planned to leave the city to return home for an arranged marriage, he was shocked and pushed his glasses up on the bridge of his nose. "Ben knows about this. We're not right for each other." I didn't offer much explanation. Teacher Chen sighed and said, "BA, I know you're a good girl, and there are some things you wouldn't tell us. We've heard bits and pieces about what happened at the wedding. It was Ben who wronged you, wasn't it? I actually invited him here today, hoping to mediate between you two, but since you've made up your mind, I won't say more. It has Ben who's not fortunate enough. Over these years, to Ben, I've cut off all contact with my family, even when I was sick. There wasn't a single relative or friend by my bedside to take care of me. I didn't cry then, when Ben blamed me. When I was in a car accident and nearly lost my life, I didn't cry either. But suddenly, tears started flowing. Teacher, please take good care of yourself in the future. You're welcome to visit my home if you have the chance. As for Ben, the person he wants to marry might not be me at all. I didn't want to continue this topic any further. After exchanging a few pleasantries with the teacher, I was ready to leave. Just then, the doorbell rang. Ben appeared at the door with Faye by his side. "Ben, you know, when it comes to traveling, it's really best to be with someone interesting. Thank you for taking the time to accompany me and lift my spirits." They held hands tightly, fingers intertwined. Seeing that I was also there, Ben quickly let go of her hand. "BA is here too, don't misunderstand. We were just a bit excited earlier. We've been going out together these past few days. BA must have been bored at home alone. We'll invite you along next time." Hearing Faye's words, Ben calmly pulled her behind him. "Faye means well." He seemed afraid Faye might get hurt by me. I smiled self-deprecatingly. In the past, I would have been very upset, but it's okay now. I don't love him anymore. During the meal, he kept paying attention to Faye, not even sparing me a glance. He peeled shrimp for her, wrapped Peking duck in thin pancakes for her. The two of them were going back and forth, so intimate that anyone who saw them would surely say how sweet they were. Even Teacher Chen couldn't stand it anymore. Finally, she couldn't hold back and slammed down her chopsticks. "Ben, beer is still here. How can you be so intimate with another woman? You're really going too far." Faye immediately straightened up upon hearing this. Pursing her lips, she took the napkin and wiped her mouth herself. "Teacher, please don't be angry. Ben and I grew up together, so we might be a bit more familiar with each other than others. Ben, I'll do it myself." As she spoke, an awkward expression unconsciously appeared on her face. Ben casually picked up another bite of food for her. "You're not wrong. Hurry up and eat." Teacher Chen snorted even more angrily. "I don't have a student like that." After speaking, he looked at Ben with displeasure. You're being so affectionate with someone else right in front of BEA. How do you think that makes her feel? Aren't you afraid she might truly get hurt and you'll never be able to make it up to her? Ben responded with a mocking expression. The wedding didn't happen, we didn't get the marriage license, and she's blocked all my contact info. How exactly am I supposed to make it up to her? Keep acting like this, and when BEA marries someone else, you'll regret it, teacher. I tugged at the teacher's sleeve and slightly shook my head. Only then did she fall silent and say no more. Ben had a knowing look. How old are you? Still tattling to the teacher. I already said I'm not refusing to marry you. Just putting it off for a while. What's the rush? Are you that afraid of not being able to get married? I looked up and scoffed. You're absolutely right. I'm afraid I won't be able to get married, but what does that have to do with you? Even if I never marry in my lifetime, I wouldn't marry you. As the atmosphere grew tense, Faye quickly poured a cup of hot tea. BA, even though you're a bit older than us and it's harder for us to communicate, I truly see you as my own sister. Please, you and Ben shouldn't argue over me anymore. Today, I'll use this tea as a substitute for wine to apologize to you. As she spoke, she brought that cup of hot tea to her lips. Caught off guard by the scalding heat, the tea spilled onto her, and she clutched her arm, crying out in pain. Ben frantically searched for burn ointment to help her, and in that moment, I saw the same Ben who had once loved me deeply. Before I could gather my thoughts, Ben's scolding voice reached my ears. BA, I'm so disappointed in you. After he pushed the door open and left, I got into the taxi to the airport amidst the teacher's sigh. In the car, Ben called me. Just as he was about to speak, Faye's incoherent cries of pain came through from the other end. He anxiously said on the other end, be gentle, she's terrified of pain, please be careful with her. Half a minute after speaking, he seemed to finally remember that I was still there. BA, if you still want to make this work with me, apologize to Faye right now. Faye got scalded because she was overwhelmed with guilt. To this day, I still don't know what I did wrong. Why do so many illogical things have to be blamed on me? I looked at the scar on my arm left from the last car accident. All the grievances and disappointments of these past days suddenly erupted. I said calmly, Ben, let's not see each other anymore. Since you also know we haven't even gotten the marriage license yet, let's break up. The announcement for the imminent departure of the plane sounded. I didn't give him a chance to react and directly turned off my phone. Chapter 5. After boarding the plane, I sat in my seat and fell into a deep sleep. I had a very long dream, in which were scenes of all these years with Ben. From the initial sweetness to the gradual estrangement after Faye came back, I was woken up by the boy next to me. Do you need help? He pointed at my face with his finger. And only then did I realize I was crying. I smiled and said thank you. Before long, the plane arrived at another city without Ben. Before reaching the exit, I spotted my father coming to pick me up in person from afar. He brought several assistants with him, and as soon as we met, they took everything from my hands. With reddened eyes, he patted my arm. You've worked hard. In a hoarse voice, I called out, Dad. His body trembled slightly, almost losing his balance. Then he nodded and turned to walk ahead. Watching his retreating figure, I finally realized my father had truly grown old. After arriving home, my mother held my hand. Looking at it over and over, how did you get so many scars on your hands? Why don't you take care of yourself? It breaks my heart to see this, Mom. But from that day until now, Ben hasn't even asked me once if it hurts. Suddenly felt a pang of sadness, lowered my head with a reddened nose. Afraid my parents might notice something was wrong. Seeing this, my mother said no more. After sighing, she suddenly became cheerful again. By the way, the preparations for tomorrow's wedding are almost done. The wedding dress is in the room, personally chosen by your groom. I was quite curious about who this person was, willing to marry someone they'd never even met, and in a flash marriage, just like me. At my question, however, my mother just raised an eyebrow and smiled. He said he wants to give you the answer in person tomorrow night. I wanted to ask more, but exhaustion took over, and I nearly fell asleep leaning on the sofa. The wound on my back was irritated, and I winced in pain, frowning. Mom nervously rushed to call the family doctor. When the doctor removed my clothes, exposing my entire back, the horrifying scars made my mother burst into tears instantly. "Old Lou, look at your daughter. Just think of how much suffering she's endured to keep my parents from worrying." I didn't tell them about that heart-stopping moment. Seeing the worried looks on my parents' faces, I thought about the despair of being abandoned by Ben and getting into a car accident, as well as having to endure his inexplicable scolding afterward. With lowered eyes, I held my mother's hand and comforted her, saying, "Mom, I'll never leave you again." Chapter 6. After the doctor examined me once more, I finally had a moment to lie down on the bed. The soft bed quickly lulled me into sleep. I slept until the next day when a servant came knocking at the door. After washing up, I changed into a traditional Chinese wedding dress. Looking at my strikingly beautiful reflection in the mirror, I couldn't help but recall the last year I spent with Ben. Back then, his long-lost white moonlight, Faye, had just returned. The talk in our social circle about when we would get married suddenly changed. "Faye is back. Ben might not necessarily marry BA now. It's not that I haven't heard about it, nor am I completely indifferent. Plus the pressure from my parents, I always thought about getting married as soon as possible, just to get it over with, so I went to great lengths to arrange a perfect wedding. In the end, I was left battered and bruised. Later, I overheard his conversation with someone else. Someone asked him, "How's the wedding preparation going?" At that moment, he stirred his coffee. "It doesn't matter how the preparation is going, it's not happening anyway. After all these years, if we were going to get married, we would have done it by now. Now that Faye is back, I have even less desire to marry BA. I just haven't found a suitable excuse yet. For me, marrying him has been a long-cherished wish for many years, but for him, it was just acting. But I still wanted to take the gamble, believing he was just saying it and wouldn't actually ruin our wedding, so I didn't expose him and continued preparing for the wedding as usual. But then, my eyes involuntarily reddened. Mom noticed me staring blankly at the mirror and came over to hold my hand with concern. "If you really don't want to get married, that's okay. Your father and I just want you to be happy. Maybe we were too hasty. We just thought since you two have some history, perhaps a mistake might turn out to be a good match after all. This way you could settle down sooner and stay with us. Your father and I both worry you might soften your heart and go back to that Ben again." Hearing Mom say that, I wiped away my tears. "Mom, what are you talking about? I'm willing to, and I also trust your and Dad's judgment." Only after hearing me say that did Mom finally feel at ease. As I was going downstairs, my phone suddenly started vibrating wildly. I took it out and answered, hearing Ben yelling on the other end, "BA, what's wrong with you? How can you be so stubborn? You acted petty and did something wrong, and I'm just asking you to apologize. Is that so hard? We've been together for so many years, and you're still playing those push-pull mind games. Is this really necessary? Faye is extremely upset. I'm giving you until today to apologize to her. Otherwise, I would never make up with you again." I froze in place. Every word of this had been overheard by Mom. I suddenly felt a pang of guilt. "Ben, is this how you treat my daughter?" Chapter 7. Mom clenched her teeth in anger. All these years, Mom endured the pain of being separated from her daughter because she believed I was happy. But now she suddenly realized that her daughter had been living such a miserable life these past few years. On the other end of the phone, Ben fell silent instantly. He never expected to hear my mother's voice on the line. Then it suddenly dawned on him, recalling something that made his whole body tremble. BA was really gone. She went thousands of miles away to be with her parents. His voice carried obvious panic and disbelief. "Auntie, B's phone. Why do you have it? Where is she?" After instinctively asking, he then remembered to explain to my mom, "You've misunderstood. It's just that Bea got jealous and targeted my friend. I only wanted her to apologize. I spoke harshly earlier. I acted impulsively. Could you please hand the phone to her?" My mother said coldly, "My daughter has never targeted anyone. Don't use your filthy thoughts to speculate about her. As for you, out of respect for my daughter having loved you for so long, I won't make things difficult for you, but don't you dare harass my daughter again, or I'll break your legs." After scolding him, Mom hung up the phone. From time to time, she raised her hand to wipe away tears. I walked over and hugged my mom. "All right, it's nothing. Growing up always comes with some experiences. It's all in the past now. After my mom returned the phone to me, I noticed there were still many unread messages on it. They were from some friends and colleagues. Everyone keeps asking me what exactly happened, why Ben has been harassing everyone like a madman, confirming with everyone whether I'm getting married, and who I'm supposed to be marrying. You wouldn't believe it. He's acting like a lunatic, shouting and screaming over the phone. He even said it's all your fault things have come to this, that you couldn't just live peacefully, made mistakes but stubbornly refused to apologize. And even went home to complain to mom and dad. In the past, hearing these words would have made me feel extremely wronged and angry. I would have confronted him, demanding to know whose fault it really was and why he would say such things about me. But now, I feel none of it matters anymore. Just then, his call came through again. On the other end, he choked up and asked me, "If you really don't want to apologize, forget it. I forgive you. Just stop making a scene and come back. Let's live our lives properly." In the past, if he had been willing to go this far for me, I would have been moved to tears. Now, I just find it ridiculous. I'm afraid I can't come back. If you're like this, I'll call you back to discuss this after my wedding. Today is my big day. Don't ruin my peace. Chapter 8. If you genuinely believe I never formally broke up with you before, then let me say it now. Ben, stop harassing my colleagues and friends. We're already broken up. And I'm really getting married. As for Faye, I never instructed anyone to target her. If you think that me feeling jealous and upset, after seeing you holding hands with her, fingers intertwined while shopping, kissing in public, staying at the same hotel on business trips, and even jilting our wedding for her, counts as targeting, then yes, I admit I once felt that way, but there won't be any of that in the future. I never meant to embarrass you. My mom overhearing the call was purely accidental. I thought I had made myself clear enough, but Ben just let out a soft scoff. "BA, are you that desperate to get married? All this talk is just to pressure me into marrying you, isn't it? Come back now, and I'm willing to marry you." I'm speechless. I can't even understand what kind of person I loved in the past. He's still so self-righteous even now, so I had no choice but to send him the invitation. It's clearly written on it, "Mr. Zhu Wei and BA sincerely invite you and your family to attend the ceremony." The phone had been silent for a long time. After some thought, I turned it off. I decided to properly complete this major life event. No matter what kind of person the other party is, since you've agreed to marry, you should take it seriously. I sat in the bridal chamber. The groom soon arrived, knocked on the door, and handed out red envelopes. The bridesmaid raised an eyebrow at me and said, "Our bride has a question for you." The groomsman outside quickly answered first, let me, I know what to ask." "Love, definitely love. He'll love only the bride for a lifetime." Everyone burst into laughter. The bridesmaid continued, "How many relationships has the groom had? Does he know the bride's birthday?" After all the questions were asked, the groom outside spoke up again. "I also have a question I'd like to ask the bride." The bridesmaid protested. "Since when does the groom ask the bride questions? Do you still want to take the bride away or not?" I spoke up. "What's the question?" "The question I want to ask is, does the bride still remember what promise she made to a boy 15 years ago?" My heart skipped a beat. I mentioned a past event that I had almost forgotten myself. 15 years ago. I fell seriously ill and had to stay in the hospital for a few days to facilitate dressing changes and observation. One night, a little boy suddenly occupied the bed next to mine. The little boy was terrified of getting a shot and hid on the bed, refusing to come down. It was me who coaxed him with candy. "How about I give you candy for the rest of your life if you cooperate with the doctor?" I never expected it to be him, surrounded by the bridesmaids and groomsmen. I watched as the tall man was ushered through the door, dressed in traditional Chinese groom's attire. He looked tall, handsome, and carried an air of refined elegance. He and the groomsmen were searching for my shoes. The moment our eyes met, my face flushed, and I nervously twisted my fingers in embarrassment. Chapter 9. We didn't speak a word the entire way, yet there was an inexplicable, ambiguous flutter between the two of us. Suddenly, the wedding procession came to a halt. A white Porsche blocked our path. Ben got out of the car, his hair disheveled and eyes bloodshot. He kept pounding on the car window. Get out. Do you hear me? You can't marry him. I gave Zhu Wei a reassuring look and got out of the car by myself. Zhu Wei, however, grabbed my hand and smiled. I'll go with you. Ben was even more agitated when he saw us holding hands. He roared and was about to lunge at us. Zhu Wei blocked him to prevent him from touching me. What exactly do you want to do? Ben glared at Zhu Wei with hatred. I was worried that Zhu Wei might get hurt, and my mind raced to think of what to do. Zhu Wei said bluntly, I am B's husband. This made everyone present burst into laughter. Ben suddenly went crazy. You're her husband, then what am I? B's husband can only be me. She's been chasing me for years. The only one she loves is me. She's just using you to make me jealous. I gently held Zhu Wei's hand and looked coldly at Ben. Don't be so full of yourself. Today is my wedding, and Wei is my husband. I won't allow him to suffer any humiliation or harm. Ben, you'd better leave now. Ben looked at me desolately. I know you did it on purpose. I've already realized my mistake. Come back with me. You can hit me or scold me all you want. Faye has already been driven away by me. I know I was at fault before, it was all my fault, but don't you bear any responsibility at all. People say that relationships require both parties to work together to create a sense of novelty. You were too good to me. I never even considered the possibility of losing you. Gradually, of course, that sense of novelty faded, and that's why I distanced myself from you, but I truly never loved anyone else. I smiled mockingly. I know, you hold hands just because you're used to it since childhood. You kiss on the street because you're playing a game. You share a room on business trips because you're worried about her being alone. You called off your wedding for her because you're very special to each other, and you didn't want her to be too heartbroken. You've said this many times before. Ben mumbled, I'm sorry. The words I'm sorry are truly cheap. You knew these things would hurt me when you did them. What's the point of saying sorry now? Chapter 10. Ben couldn't believe I was truly determined to break up. I can't believe I took the earliest flight to chase after you, yet still couldn't change the fact that I'm getting married. His eyes turned red, his entire body radiating defeat. In the past, seeing him so heartbroken would have softened me instantly. But now, all I feel is annoyance. He seemed to suddenly remember something and pulled out a velvet jewelry box from his bag. Inside was the engagement ring I had prepared earlier. He had always refused to wear it, and when I decided to leave, I placed my own ring back in the box as well. I never expected he would bring it today. Do you still remember these rings? Now I've finally seen my own heart clearly. Come back with me, please. As he spoke, he reached out to grab me. But Zhu Wei blocked him. Zhu Wei was taller than him, and his imposing presence outmatched his by more than just a little. Mister, sure, I've vaguely heard about your situation. I won't comment on who's right or wrong, but since it's all in the past, please don't dwell on it anymore. Let's part ways amicably. Ben clenched his fists in frustration, ready to hit him. My heart just leaped into my throat when I saw Zhu Wei swiftly strike Ben first. Sorry, mister. Sure, it's a reflex. When I see someone about to throw a punch, I just have to beat them to it. Zhu Wei turned back and smiled at me. Honey, you won't blame me, will you? I smiled and said, all right, stop fooling around. We'll miss the wedding time if we delay any longer. Let's go. Ben covered his face and said, after all these years of feelings, do they still not compare to an arranged marriage partner in your heart? I stopped in my tracks. You know how many years it's been, all that I've given for you, you understand, so you should know what I want most right now. Let me have this. These words made Ben halt his approaching steps. I got back into the car with Zhu Wei. In the rearview mirror, I saw Ben slumped on the ground, crying his heart out. I don't know what exactly he's so upset about. He made all these choices himself. What is there to regret now? Faye greeted me warmly and generously as soon as she saw me, urging me to come in quickly. What matters is that in the future, I will definitely live a very happy life. At night, lying in Zhu Wei's arms, my heart was filled with nothing but contentment. There were still a few unread messages on my phone. Among them was Ben's. He said he was leaving and would never bother me again. Hoping I would truly be happy, 2 years later, I heard about Ben and Faye from a friend. For some reason, they had a falling out, and Faye started spreading negative rumors about Ben. also posted Ben's private photos on a public platform. Ben, unable to contain his anger, confronted her, only to be publicly challenged. "What? Dare you say those photos aren't of you? Looks decent on the outside, but deep down, isn't he just a pervert? Aren't we talking about you?" Ben, in a fit of rage, slapped her. "You people are truly disgusting. Who's the disgusting one? Who's the one with a fiancé still flirting with me?" Her words stabbed deep into Ben. Ben pulled out a fruit knife and viciously plunged it into her abdomen. Fortunately, timely medical intervention prevented a fatality. But Ben's own future was completely ruined. However, that has nothing to do with me anymore. Thank you for watching today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below, so feel free to share your opinions, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more great stories. We'll see you in the next video.